Okay, so annoyingly, I just shot this whole video. It was like 20 minutes long. I went through the whole song, and I was at the end of it saying, that's it. And then my phone just crapped out, and I lost the video. So I'm going to really quickly try to run through it again, because, yeah, I'm just tired at this point. So this lick is or this song, because I'm going to run through the whole thing. But let's start with a lick. So we're talking about this particular version where Tommy is playing in the studio. It's probably the most famous video of him playing classical gas, or one of them up there for sure. And he opens with this lick. Okay, so what is that? Now, the beginning of it is what I call a cascading lick. I don't know where I got that name. Well, I'm pretty sure I got it from Tommy. I just don't know when I heard him call it that. And they're unique licks, one of Tommy's unique licks in his bag of tricks. And he plays them in a lot of different places in his songs, including classical gas. This particular one in A minor pentatonic, box 1. And he's used it in other songs, you know, like Windy and Warm, or anything else in A minor, really, he uses it. What's unique about this particular one that is that little finish there. And that's actually the hardest part. Coming from somebody who's experienced in playing cascading licks, it's really easy for me to play them. And he uses them in different positions. You know, they're G, E minor, E, like in his song, Locomotivation, he uses it there. Train to Dusseldorf, sorry. So there's a lot of different cascading licks that he uses, and you know, once you've mastered one, you can kind of learn the other positions as well. It's the same principle, but easy for me to return and play these licks. But what's actually hard is I haven't played this song or this version of this song in quite a while. And at some point I was able to play it very confidently after I practiced a ton, but now even coming back to it, that portion, like this portion, very easy. But the quick transition down here is not easy. That's really hard to do, and it's the timing of it, because you have to rip down there really quickly. The position is difficult. The way you play it is difficult. So how he gets that sound is he's really tearing into it. It's a pull off with these two fingers here on the D string, but it's not a full note. It's like that kind of sound. And then to the A string, pull off, and then E open. Pull the string, and then back to the A open. So right, and then A minor, just those three strings there, up to this A minor chord position up on the 5th box there, and then that little trill with your pinky. This is a difficult thing too. He comes down here to this G. And then he does this walk up to open the song. And this walk up is what's present in all the verses in the song. The A minor, the G, the C, the D, with the B bass there, and then these chords, which I don't even know what they are. But the position is this across three frets. And then the position condenses a little bit. So imagine taking this position, all the strings stay in the same position except for, or the fingers, except for this pointing finger is going to go up as if this was the position, but it's going to be up here, right? So, and then they all crunch together a little bit for that, and then same position up here, up to the 7th, right? Harmonics, if you're playing that version of that song, it's the only place he does it, and then just these two strings, B and G string. And then he literally ends on this. Sometimes when I'm playing it, I'll play the I'll play for dramatic effect, the harmonic there, and then he flicks into it. I think he does it on that version. He does it in another version anyways, where I love it, but right, he just to do that mute flick against the guitar, and then he starts into there, right? Which is just so I'll explain this really quick. This is an A minor bar, but you're not barring the whole thing. You're actually just barring the first 4 strings, and you're leaving this A open, and then you're playing the melody here with your pinky. Bass string keeps going. Okay, harmonic, and then this chord here, right? And then now this part is a part that Tommy changes up a lot, so pay careful attention to it, because the walkthrough in the verse, the chorus. You know what? There's so many parts of the song. I don't know what the verse of the chorus is, but whatever. This is a common part of the song. So it's the G, C, F, this B, I think, and then the walk up there. Same chord, just the bass moves there, and then. Don't get confused by Tommy playing 2 strings with 1 finger, because so this is an E, how Tommy would play it, right? Or an A minor, how Tommy would play it. He doesn't play it with the 2, because instead of covering 2, he covers it with 1 finger, right? So, but the way that resolves. So that while you're doing this, it's let go, A open, and then G, down to the F, E. Now sometimes he doesn't always play that. Sometimes he'll simplify it. So rather than doing the full, he'll do and skip straight to it. You'll hear him do that. He'll switch it up. And even in this G portion here, right? So sometimes it's sometimes it's so he walks through it. Right? So pay attention to that. You can utilize those different tools, those different variations to keep the song interesting as you're playing throughout it for the listener, so that when they come to that part again, it's not exactly the same. It's a little bit different. Sometimes he'll do little mutes and you can see it in his face. He's having fun with it, right? And that's part of it too. So play this song with a metronome. Practice it with a metronome. It's so key, because it's a song that you have to play with a metronome and keep in time. And then learn to play it soft, because the truth is, in order to play this song well, it's deceiving. It's a fast song. It sounds fast and aggressive. So as you're learning it and playing it, it's easy to fall into playing aggressively, and you get rigid. That just makes you rigid, and actually it doesn't sound good, and it's tiresome. And you'll find that if you ever get to the point where you're playing it, you're performing it so fluidly, because you've practiced it, you've got it sounding exactly how it should sound, like when Tommy's playing it, you've got it to the point where you're performing it, and you're just there with the listener enjoying the music. You're not thinking about the technicality of it or executing it. You're just enjoying the sheer music of it, the timing of it. You're having a great time, and it's coming effortlessly. That it should feel smooth. It should feel like glass. And to be honest, that's the trick to fast, aggressive sounding songs, is to play them well. You actually have to learn how to play softly, so it should feel that way. Like I said, practice with a metronome. So G, C, to the E, and then there's this part that it walks into. So it's simple C, simple chord. It's just a C that walks into this augmented C where the middle finger comes off, pinky. Here's somebody talking. Pinky comes down here to the B string, and Tommy just rolls his pointing finger to cover both these strings. And even though the the pointing finger is only playing this string here. He just rolls it because it's easier to switch between it rather than adjusting it. That you can if you want. So and then it rolls into this. Okay, I'll play that. So, and then this G sharp, full G sharp, and then to the E, right? So how that works is to the G sharp, and then you go down one, you keep barring, and then you go to this position with the ring finger on the 4th string. So this is the chord, right? And then your middle finger should be directly on the B string right here, okay? So it'll sound, and you're pumping this bass string, right, to give dramatic effect. So, and each time you go up, so this is the chord here, and it's very simple. You walk it up a fret, and it alternates. Your middle finger alternates between the B string and the G string, okay? So it goes like this. And then up here, and then down to the B string again. The ring finger's not moving. All the way up to there, right? That's how far you play it. And then you switch over to this E, okay? So, and that's just barring the first 4 string, kind of like the A that we were doing earlier. Only now you are barring the first 4 strings, but you want to mute the A string with the tip of your pointing finger because you want the E to ring out because this is an E chord. So, and what's happening there is it's open. And then as it comes up and it slides up, the position, still muting the A string, you're bringing your middle finger in to play this string here. And then it's the whole position slides up again. All the while, your pinky's staying on this E, this full octave E on the 12th fret. So it kind of gets squished there. It gets a little squishy. And then you just bar the whole thing right there, right? So, and then at that point, he does the dramatic relieve, which is either, right? Or sometimes he does. So he might do the whole, don't break your guitar neck. So you can do little things like that too, like even this, rather than playing it the same every time. You might time it a little different, right? So you notice I delayed it a little bit there to get that, right? Okay, so we know that part. Now comes the part where he adds in this song. This is the hardest part of the song if you're playing this version, and he only ever, on videos that I've seen, plays this interlude. It's called Walk Don't Run. It's a guitar piece that he's created for a song called Walk Don't Run by an old band called The Ventures. And he had it in a version that was super popular on YouTube where he's playing on the Wood Songs radio back in the 80s or whatever. And he hasn't included it in a lot of him playing classical gas over the years. But in that particular video that we're talking about, where he's playing in the studio more recently, it is in there. And how that works, that's the hardest part of the song, I'll be totally honest with you. It's a fingerstyle thing. I'll try to play it slowly. So you'll see there that the melody is, the melody goes up or down while the bass is going to go up. So that's hard. And then that's the chord there. Then he does this weird, that's a weird lick. Yeah. Right, so that's I think that's all the pieces of the song. Then there's the ending, so I'll jump straight into the ending there. The ending is coming back into the main part. So it ends in this portion here. So he doubles back on it there, and depending on the version, he plays those chords differently. Sometimes he goes. So for dramatic effect, he strums the chords or flicks them with his fingers. And then, so we come from the E major there, and we let go of that blues note there. That blues note there with our pinky, because we need our pinky up here to play this G sharp with the E, which is a nice sound. And then we're gonna go to this A minor with it's an A minor with this augmented note here. I don't know what that is, but rather than this, it's this. It's still an A minor chord. Down to the same, just fast. Right? So he did. So those ending chords are just the A minor, G, F, but he might actually play it, that might be the chord he plays there. Either way, it works. Right? The important thing is that you keep that G note playing throughout the G and the F, whether you play it like that or like this. Right? So that's it. That's pretty much the whole song there. Just play around with this to get the right feeling. Stroke that A string every once in a while there. Right? And you've got it. So, like I said, practice with a metronome is key. Make sure that you go back and listen to different performances of him playing it, and then giving yourself a break from playing it on the guitar. Get it in your head what that sounds like, what the performance sounds like, so that when you come back to playing it, you can have that in your head while you're playing it, and keep trying to bring those two things closer and closer together. The actual performance Tommy playing it and yourself playing it. You want that gap to close and close and close until eventually it's the same. But like metronome, really, really key. Learning to play softly, quietly, really key. With these cascading licks, I was gonna say, one thing I forgot to mention is in the other video tutorials that I noticed that they give for this, they play all the right notes, and sometimes Tommy does come down here and finish the position on the A string, but in this particular opening, that's not correct. So and it sounds fine if you want to do it, but in this particular opening, Tommy actually ends on the D string. He doesn't go down. So that's where it ends. The cascading lick ends on the D string, and then down here. And to get that sound, I don't know if I said this before, but to get that sound, you really have to pull. You have to pull the string with your finger, like you're pulling it away from the guitar and letting it flick back into place, right? That's how he gets that digging sound. Play soft. Right? So have fun with it. Let me know if you have any other questions that I can help out with, and hopefully that gives you what you need. Hopefully I played the parts slowly enough that you can see well enough that you can set the speed to half speed or quarter speed, and using your ears figure out how it's played and what's going on there. So yeah, have fun.